Hey guys, this is going to be week 5 of the long road to hell. Today is going to be a pretty busy day. I am going to start physical therapy for the second week. I am going to also try and start doing the first draft, or at the very least, write down the plot points of what's going to happen in each issue of Hell Beneath You. I am feeling a bit tired. I'm trying to, aside from doing the physical therapy, I've been trying to also just like work out on my own as well. I'm working on transferring gyms. I still haven't done that. It's been so chaotic these past couple of months that I haven't done the transition yet from my original gym location to the new gym that's closer to me now. So I'm going to be doing that as well, hopefully. Um, if you hear like some stuff is starting to lightly drizzle, apparently there's going to be a little bit of rain later on in the day, probably by the time I get out of physical therapy. Who knows? Let's see. Rainy days usually are like the best days for me to create stuff, especially if I'm going to do something that's more in the horror spectrum and whatnot. I'm also working on the podcast. I'm trying to just handle a lot of stuff right now. I guess I'm just, in a way, throwing myself into a lot of work just to, keep pushing forward with all the stuff that's been happening. But, again, things are starting to kind of look up. So let's get this week started. Hey, today I am on my second week of physical therapy for my shoulders, and as the sessions go by, the more intense they get, and today really kicked my ass. Oh my goodness, did it really kick my ass. There is going to be a thunderstorm tonight, and my printer just randomly turned on. Things are gonna be great tonight. When you see the Dwight Schrute notebook, you know what time it is. I just finished writing down the plot points for each issue. Now, I'm just going to show it real quickly because I don't want to show spoilers, but it is this 2-page spread here. Like, I'm just going to show it real quick like this. And there you go, the end. So I wrote essentially the basic elements of what's going to be happening on each issue, kind of like the way I used to write Fred Peterson, the Mighty Warlord. I will just write down just kind of like the beats of what's going to happen, like in the beginning, middle, and end of each issue. So I did that for all 8 issues of Hell Beneath You. For those who don't remember, it is going to be 8 issues. The tentative title list: Forward, I'll Be Gone, Roads Untraveled, Somewhere I Belong, Bleed It Out, Lost in the Echo, Crawling, and Shadow of the Day. As I mentioned before, I don't even remember if it was the first or the second video. Each title, of course, is an homage to Linkin Park, and each song kind of has a bit of a significance to the actual story as well, which is why I chose those songs in particular, especially because of their titles. So, yeah, I feel like I'm finally doing a lot of progress, and at least in terms of the writing aspect. I still haven't been well enough, I guess, to just sit down and do visual aspect just yet, but when it comes to comic books, I usually tend to do quite a bit of writing before I actually get into the illustrating anyway. So I'm just trying to keep that approach as well and trying to keep myself motivated to do this. I feel very excited that at the very least I've been doing a lot of progress with this part of this aspect of the creation, which is just kind of laying down the groundwork and the foundation of the story. So that way it'll be easier to visualize and do concept art later on as well. All right, it's been a busy day. Aside from going over the notes for Hell Beneath You, I also put a bunch of stuff on my Patreon actually. I rarely do double posts, but as I mentioned before, I kind of want to make up to it to people who were checking out my Patreon. It was on and off. I really didn't put that much content, so I want to make it up to them. And here I posted the second episode of the Serene Chaos podcast for season 2. It was a fun episode to make. I actually did an Amazon affiliates link for this. I don't know how well that's going to do once the links actually go to the public in a few weeks. But it's not really about the money or about, making money off of it. If it were that was my primary goal, I would have been really screwed a long time ago. I would have given up. So it's more about being creative and putting that positive creative energy out there. And I just did additional books that helped me inspire to be creative. And I know, I put the affiliate links also, just in case people want to check those books themselves as well. And also, I posted Funny Bone Rage of the Lucky 13 Part 3 at last. Of course, that is a PDF of the series of short stories of Funny Bone Rage of the Lucky 13. This has been incredibly fun to do. I had done it a while back, especially this cover, but I didn't have the time to just kind of go around and edit it well. So I finally was able to finish the edits on the writing, and I was finally able to do some embellishments on the cover. And it is a PDF, and here it is. It is an exclusive digital download for patrons. So I'm still debating if I'm going to turn Funny Bone into a Kindle Vella kind of thing as well. And even if I do, like, the first 3 chapters are always going to be free, and then every chapter going forward is paying. So now I do have 3 chapters up there. So I guess I have that that option now. So I'm at the Koreatown food court, and yeah, that's a thing. Koreatown is one of my all-time favorite places to come and just get food and stuff. If you're ever in New York City, Koreatown is a great place for foods, drinks, desserts, pastries, just, a great little slice of Korea, I guess. I've always wanted to go to Korea. Anyway, it's getting crowded here.
Baby strollers, push carts, and pull carts or similar devices are not permitted on the escalator. For your children's safety, do not allow them to drive off.
Hey everyone, I just finished my second week of physical therapy for my shoulders. Today, the physical therapist told me something that was actually inadvertently deep. Um, like I've been slowly getting a lot more range and moving my shoulders better, but I haven't really necessarily gotten stronger. And he said something that kind of resonated in a visceral way. Like he said that I concentrate too much on the pain rather than actually doing the exercise. And I don't know, something about that whole I concentrate too much on the pain kind of resonated with me, because that can be whether physical or emotional or whatnot. And it's been a struggle this year. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a rough year. And sometimes you just kind of concentrate on that pain, and even though you somewhat heal, you really don't grow stronger if you don't stop concentrating on the pain, whether it be physical or emotional or whatnot. So yeah, those are the kind of things you can just randomly find out when you need it the most, I guess. I uploaded again to my Patreon. I uploaded the whole Never Mind the Comeback, which is kind of like the small little commentaries I do about Nevermind and the comparisons between the original and the newer strip, as you can see there. This was just comparing like one of the more controversial strips actually at the time when it came out. You can read it for free at my Patreon. Of course, it's www.patreon.com/Lance Danger. About 90% of the posts are actually free to read, and some are free to listen as well. So you can definitely give that a check if you want to. I have a lot of fun doing the whole Nevermind the Comeback series, comparing the original strips and the newer remaster version of it. This is one of the clearer examples of how I took the original strip and kind of expanded on some of the ideas and went a little bit more to the gist of what actually happened, because sometimes I'll leave some elements out or maybe put one element in to kind of make the strip a little lighter, especially if it's a more serious one and the previous strip or the strip that's going to follow is a little too serious or even dark, because the strip does get dark at times. So I try to kind of balance it out as best as I can in that sense, because I don't want it to be completely dreary and completely hopeless and like have people think that I'm in a dark place in my life. And as the young people say, no cap, I was in many dark places when I was younger in my life. There were many dark thoughts, and people who have read the comic strip know what I'm talking about. It's probably would be a video for another day. But yeah, I have been my mind has gone to dark places before. Not so much anymore. And that's part of growing up and going through different experiences. A lot of the things that happened in the strips were things that happened when I was a child, and a lot of things that happened in my early to mid 20s. So there's a lot of transition, there's a lot of emotion, there's just a lot of things going on there, and I tried to unpack it as best as I could without being over the top dark or doing something that's just going to depress the reader rather than give them a little few minutes of amusement, if that makes sense. And also, it is Devil's Night. And to celebrate Devil's Night, I kind of uploaded, or rather shared, this memory on Facebook of when I met the man himself, James O'Barr. That was such a great moment. Really one of the biggest moments in my personal geek history to actually meet the creator of The Crow. And not only did I meet him, we actually talked for like a good 15 to 20 minutes at his table at Artist Alley. This was in New York Comic Con a few years back, and it was mind blowing. It was just absolutely mind blowing to be able to talk to this creator that I admired for so long, and talking about dark places and my mind going to dark places. The Crow, the movie and the comic book, kind of helped distract from those clouds that were around me at the time. So I'm always incredibly grateful to that comic and to that story. And I'm really, really glad that I was able to tell him how much the comic meant to me and the movie and the story. As you can see there, he signed my trade, which is essentially the perfect edition of The Crow. He personalized the autograph, which was awesome. I didn't ask him to do that. I just kind of wanted his signature, just to like have it for my own little personal collection. So for him to be that nice enough to like ask me to spell my name for him so he could actually dedicate the signature to me, the autograph, it really did mean a lot. And it was just an incredible day. And this is just one of my favorite pop figures that I have of The Crow. So yeah, like I guess you can tell by my smile, I was just really, really happy to have met him. And he has a pretty good smile there himself. So I hope I was pleasant enough and not like a creeper or something while we were having that small chat that we had. Surprisingly enough, I have talked with other fans that have said that he's usually very not standoffish, but very introverted, I guess, when he's at conventions and doesn't really talk too much or is kind of like socially awkward. But I'm pretty introverted and socially awkward myself. So I guess maybe that's why we kind of had like a very good conversation that day. And it's definitely one of those days that I'll remember for the rest of my life. Hooray! Hello, everyone. It is Halloween, and Halloween to me, that is Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, birthday, all in one. Even though it's not my birthday, but you get what I mean. And I'm wearing my favorite lounge shirt, and not only is it a lounge shirt, as I showed before, I think it is a Poltergeist t-shirt, one of my all-time favorite movies. Definitely sets the mood for the day. Whew. Halloween, man, what a great day. I have a tradition actually on Facebook on Halloween where I put my profile picture I changed my profile picture and cover photo to Halloween 3 Season of the Witch imagery. I always put as a profile picture the kid that's wearing the pumpkin mask, that very obnoxious kid that, hot take, kind of got what he deserved in the movie. I said what I said. I always thought he was a brat, even when I was a little kid. But I digress. I have like that image of that profile picture is the image of the kid when he's like holding the pumpkin mask when his head was turning into randomly a whole bunch of insects. And of course, the cover photo is the smiling pumpkin from the Silver Shamrock commercial that goes on throughout the movie and at the end as well. It's just a fun movie. It's one of my all-time favorite movies as well, especially in Halloween time. It's my personal favorite Halloween movie of the franchise. Always has been ever since I was little. I loved the first Halloween. Again, I saw them all as a kid. My family really loved Halloween movies and scary movies, so I grew up on Halloween, Friday the 13th, um, Aliens, um, oh wow, I'm blanking on so many great titles. The Shining, also, and I don't know, I think it's just the excitement itself just kind of makes me like, ah. And I think my excitement is radiating because even the cats, if you hear like random purring or small bells jingling around, that's the cats just chilling and coming to see what I'm doing here at the desk. Um, Pretty soon, one of them will probably jump onto it. But again, it's Halloween. It's a celebration, and if even the cats are excited, then it's a good thing. Good boy. You're a good boy. They're being extra cuddly. I think again because I probably am irradiating that love, that Halloween love. As I said, like in the opener of the first episode, pretty much, to me, Halloween and the fall is kind of like family time because that's kind of how I felt like the family kind of somehow grew closer during those days of fall and Halloween, especially. Again, just sitting down in the little apartment in Williamsburg, waiting for the horror movie marathons to come on TV, watching The Shining, Salem's Lot, Cat People, Cat's Eye. And again, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Silent Night, Deadly Night, Psycho Cop. Wholesome fun for the family, right? It's just such a great time, watching the leaves change, the weather get colder, the nights getting longer, the hot cocoa with the marshmallow inside, the popping of the Jiffy Pop popcorns that you would do on the stove top when it was aluminum, the little container or whatever that you would put on the stove top. Now it's like some kind of plastic or something. I know I'm dating myself, but like I care to begin with. Again, it was just very fun times, great times with the family, great memories. That's really what stays, are the memories of those days that's gone by, especially nowadays where we're all like in such different places in our lives. Like my mom is in Puerto Rico still. Ever since she moved back from New York to Puerto Rico, she swore off living anywhere else. Like she just wants to stay in Puerto Rico. A while back, she actually got sick, and my sister tried to convince her to move out of Puerto Rico and go to Florida where she lives. And no, she's not gonna have it. Like she's going to be buried in Puerto Rico, I suppose. That's any point though. I think she's gonna outlive all of us. She's always been very strong, very healthy. The time that she got sick was one of the few times that she's got relatively seriously sick. She was being examined for a small cancerous tumor that was found in her colon, and she had a successful operate surgery for that, and she went for her rounds of chemotherapy and whatnot. Fortunately, she came out of it swinging, of course, and she's always been a very strong woman, so very independent as well. So she's definitely going to be stuck in her ways of living in Puerto Rico. And of course, my sister, she's older than me. She branched out to Florida after living in Puerto Rico and whatnot. She was the first one to fly out of the nest, I guess, when she was with her first husband. She moved out, but she was still in Puerto Rico. But after that relationship ended, she actually ended up moving to Florida with one of her best friends at the time. And she has made her life over there at Florida. She actually met with a childhood friend that randomly met with a childhood friend that lived in New York as well when we were kids, and they found each other. They're currently married right now as well, and they have a very good, happy life over there in Florida. And of course, I'm over here back in New York. I kind of went back to my roots. Had a lot of demons to confront, I guess. I wanted to, aside from giving myself a chance to grow in a personal and professional way, leaving Puerto Rico to come back to New York, in a way, I kind of wanted to exercise some of my own demons, I guess, which is very kind of fitting to talk about on a Halloween night. There was a lot of things that happened growing up, and I honestly never thought, growing up that I was going to end up being in New York again. Certainly, I didn't know if I was going to stay in Puerto Rico my whole life because back then it was still a great place to live in. And I don't mean that it's not a great place to live now, but the government has really, really messed up that island, aside from also like the natural disasters like Hurricane Maria and whatnot. It's really a powder keg that's about to explode in a way with all the corruption that's going on there, and it's such a shame. Growing up there as a teenager and through my 20s, it was just such a fine place to live in. But as time went on, and especially after the economy kind of just took the bottom out of Puerto Rico from all of us, it just got harder and harder to live there, and it got harder and harder to find employment and whatnot. So it got to a point where I was either going to drag my mother and myself down into a relatively unlivable kind of lifestyle, or I could just branch out myself and, you know, be able to afford my mother and myself a chance to keep thriving in a way. So thankfully, that is pretty much what happened. My mother is doing pretty well down there. I could do better, but I can't complain. Up here, I'm certainly doing better than if I would have stayed in Puerto Rico. And again, it's not to throw shade or be dismissive of the place that I grew up in and that I still absolutely love. I wish I could visit it again under better circumstances than the last time that I visited. That's for certain. There are still a lot of great friends and family that live there, but I guess in a way, even though Puerto Rico is where I grew up in my formative years, I guess as a teenager and young adult, it was never really my home. I think a part of me always had stayed in New York when we moved there. A part of me, I guess that's probably why I'm so attached to Halloween also and whatnot, to those memories, because again, uh, Halloween to me is a time of family. It's not like a satanic thing. It's not devil worshiping. It's not being a witch or a wizard or whatnot. To me, it's just family. Either trick or treating as a kid with your parents or your siblings, or as I mentioned before, our own little tradition of having hot cocoa, pumpkin pie, snacks, and horror movies. It didn't get any better than that. I really freaking love Halloween. And on that note, it's actually kind of fitting that Halloween fell on a Sunday, so this is the end of the week. As you guys saw, I'm doing a lot more work on my Patreon. I'm trying to do a lot more stuff. I'm working on the podcast. I already have another episode recorded. So that again, I can be uploading that bi-weekly at a good pace. And yeah, this has just been fun. It was a fun week, like especially after everything that happened before. It feels like things are falling into place. I did quite a bit of writing for Hell Beneath You as well. As you seen by now, I did the beats of every issue of issues 1 through 8. I already started mingling with the first draft of issue 1 as well. It's a bit of a slower process because I am kind of juggling a few things at the same time, and I'm also going through the physical therapy twice a week as well. So yeah, busy times, and it's better to be busy than not doing anything at all, I suppose, and especially if it's something that you really want to make happen. And this comic is definitely something I really want to make happen. Not just this comic, but my other projects as well. I feel like after having the rug pulled from under me when I got COVID and everything got set back so badly, I feel like I'm finally starting to like get that traction again and get that spark again and just that energy to delve into those projects and knock things out and putting things out there as well. Posting not just on Facebook and doing live streams on Facebook and YouTube, but also posting stuff slowly on Instagram, on TikTok. I'm trying to do the Inktober. As I said, I knew since I said I was going to do Inktober that I probably wasn't going to finish it in October due to the shoulder problems. But I am trying to get myself strong enough to at least do the Inktober for the rest of November, maybe even December. And it'll serve as a good practice as well for me to like shake that rust off of my shoulders and be able to work on my comics as well. So that's pretty much going to be it. I'm going to cut this segment here. And I hope you guys had a happy Halloween by the time you've seen this. I was actually flirting with the idea of dropping episode 1 on midnight at Halloween, kind of like, since it's the horror theme, love letter to horror movies and horror stories, what better time than to drop it in Halloween? But then I thought to myself that I should just wait until, this is the 5th episode, and again, I want to afford to have enough time to have these episodes out, and if anything happens, I can, take a small break and not have it affect the schedule of these videos being uploaded. So I opted to wait until at least I've recorded maybe episode 7 or something. So that means I'll probably be uploading this sometime towards maybe the end of November, beginning of December. I'm also flirting with the idea of just starting it on January 1st, which is a pretty good option as well, just to like start the new year with a bang. So I probably am going to do that. Well, you'll know by the time this comes out anyway. But again, happy Halloween. I hope everyone stays safe. This week has been a flawless victory. I was able to do the beats for each issue, which is a big thing. It helps me clear my mind and gives me a better visualization of what I want to do with the drafts for each individual issue. And in the previous weeks, as I showed as well, excuse me, exciting times. I also came up with the names for the characters. So yeah, this has been exciting. This has been fun. I hope you guys have been having fun as well. I've been trying to mix it up a little bit by showing kind of like slice of life moments of walking through the city and whatnot. since, you know, as the meme says, New York is starting to heal. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Stay tuned and stay safe.